Your neighbor just arrested for a shocking crime. Here's what the police discovered when they searched. Archangel Michael says, something unbelievable has just happened closer to you than you realize. The police arrived in silence, but what they found made the entire street shift. Your neighbor, the one who always waved, who seemed so quiet, was hiding something that chilled even the officers. The air outside felt different today. He didn't answer his door at first. But when they broke it open, they didn't just find a crime, they found a secret that connects to something bigger than anyone expected. For years, he lived next to you unnoticed, undetected. While you watered your plants, while children played outside, while people came and went, he was building something in the dark. And now, the truth has erupted. And it has made heaven move to protect you. Type Amen to get blessing 333. The police didn't come for a routine check. They were tipped off. Someone had been watching, recording, waiting for the right moment to reveal it all. What they found behind those walls was not ordinary. A hidden room. Locked drawers. Burnt papers that barely survived. And tucked inside a box under the floorboard, was something not even they were prepared for. Photos. Documents. A list of names, and one of those names was shockingly familiar. Yours. The officers froze when they read it. The atmosphere shifted. It wasn't just a case anymore, it became personal. Type Amen to get blessing 481. You may have passed this person daily. Smiled at him. Greeted him. Maybe even helped carry something to his porch. But what he carried in return was darkness cloaked in charm. The documents they found weren't just files, they were plans. Detailed schedules. Marked calendars. Mapped streets. And one section was highlighted. Your name. Your building. Your usual walk time. Archangel Michael says, heaven intervened before his plan could unfold. You were marked, but you are shielded. Type Amen to get blessing 902. There were photos pinned under a stairboard, taken without permission. From angles that suggested they were watching for a long time. Some were blurred. Others crystal clear. They found receipts of strange purchases. Tools that didn't belong in a normal household. Locks. Recorders. A journal with writings that grew darker with each page. One officer whispered, this wasn't his first time. Another officer simply stared, unable to process the evil unfolding. And you? You were steps away this entire time. Type Amen to get blessing 176. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20. They brought in specialists. People trained to handle disturbing discoveries. Even they needed to pause when they found the second room, one that wasn't marked on the house plans. The door had been painted to match the wall. Invisible unless you looked closely. But when it was opened, the smell hit first. Not of death, but of deep secrecy. Like a place where time had stopped and fear had grown. Inside that room was a chair. Facing a wall of screens. And one of those screens was still showing footage, of the street outside. Of you. Type Amen to get blessing 621. He had set up surveillance for months. Not just to spy, but to study. To learn habits. To wait. And in a small notebook beside the monitors, there were handwritten notes, descriptions of your clothing, who visited, even what time your lights turned off. The police realized it was worse than they thought. This was not random. This was calculated obsession. They shut off the system. Unplugged every device. And the entire room went cold, as if the darkness had been waiting to be disturbed. Type Amen to get blessing 355. Archangel Michael says, you were being watched, but not by him alone. Heaven had angels stationed around your home. And the moment his intentions grew too bold, the divine signal was sent. That's why he got exposed now, not earlier, not later. But at the exact moment before something irreversible could happen. The officers found a final box. Locked with 3 latches. And when they opened it, they weren't ready. Inside were items that belonged to people who had disappeared. Type Amen to get blessing 707. There were old ID cards. Wallets. Rings. Pieces of paper with different addresses. Some of those people were never reported missing. Others were part of cold cases. And yet, there they were. All stored in this quiet house, beside your own. The horror wasn't just in the crime, it was in how long it had stayed hidden. He had masked his world in politeness. But behind closed doors, he was becoming someone no one would recognize. And now the truth has finally erupted. Type Amen to get blessing 228. The neighborhood is still in shock. No one saw it coming. No one suspected. But that's how evil often hides, in plain sight, wearing a smile. They found gloves tucked behind a wall. Labeled folders under the kitchen tiles. Even a burner phone with text messages to someone unnamed, someone helping from afar. This wasn't a solo operation. There's another person, possibly still out there. And the police are now watching your area closely. Type Amen to get blessing 599. The officers haven't released the full report yet. But internally, they're already saying it, he was building towards something big. Something final. You were never meant to see this moment. You were meant to be caught in it. But heaven said no. And that's why everything stopped right before it began. Type Amen to get blessing 842. He had timelines written out. Dates marked with red ink. Notes beside your name like soon and ready. It wasn't just observation anymore, it was preparation. The most chilling thing they found was a letter. Handwritten. Folded neatly inside a black envelope. And at the top, your name was written in all caps. Inside the letter were paragraphs of twisted thoughts. Words filled with obsession. Promises of what he intended to do. The officers couldn't read it all without trembling. Type Amen to get blessing 411. They placed the letter into evidence immediately. Sealed it, marked it as high priority, immediate threat. They knew then, this was not just a disturbed man. This was a silent storm waiting to strike. And you were the eye of it. But now, the storm has been silenced. When they interrogated him, he said nothing. Just stared at the wall like he was still watching you. As if his mind hadn't accepted the end of his plan yet. And the name he whispered under his breath, was yours. Type Amen to get blessing 524. Archangel Michael says, your life was being written into someone else's madness. But the pen has been snapped, and the pages burned. The people involved are being tracked now. Someone else had been helping him, guiding him, sending supplies and instructions. But the investigation has started unfolding all of it. And soon, even the hidden name behind this will be uncovered. You were a target. Now, you're a testimony. You were circled in red ink. But now, you're surrounded by divine protection. Type Amen to get blessing 663. There's an officer who was personally moved by your case. He's making sure no detail is missed. His gut is telling him this wasn't just one house, this is part of a bigger circle. And you may be asked to come in for questioning, not because you're in danger anymore, but because your name was at the center of his plans. They want to protect you. They want to ensure there's no trail left unchecked. They want to understand why he chose you. But heaven already knows, because your light was too strong for him to ignore. Type Amen to get blessing 899. Now, you may feel unsettled. Like your trust in the world has cracked a little. That's okay. That's part of waking up to hidden danger. You are safe now. But your discernment has been upgraded. And that feeling you had in your stomach, that slight discomfort around him, it was right. Never again ignore your spiritual signals. You felt something, and you were never crazy for it. The arrest wasn't random. It was the result of prayers, protection, and perfect divine timing. Type Amen to get blessing 200. Soon, this story will make the news. But they won't tell the whole truth. They'll speak of a neighbor, of a strange man, of a hidden room. But you'll know what really happened. You'll know how close it was. And how heaven stepped in at the last moment. You'll carry this quietly. As a reminder of the battle you never saw, but survived. And from now on, no one will enter your life unnoticed. Type Amen to get blessing 371. Archangel Michael says, sometimes evil dresses like silence. Sometimes danger doesn't scream, it watches. But your angels never sleep. You will start noticing changes in your atmosphere. A shift in your home. Peace returning. Light settling again. Because what once threatened you has been removed. And what once stalked you has been stopped. This is not fear. This is your freedom. Type Amen to get blessing 418. Let others wonder how you stay so calm after the chaos. Let them ask how you're still glowing. You know why. Because when darkness tried to circle you, heaven sent a sword. And now, you are untouchable. Your name has been cleared. Your peace has been restored. Your life has been extended. Let that be the final truth. Type Amen to get blessing 855. The next morning, the police returned, not for another arrest, but to inform you directly. They wanted to make sure you heard it from them first. They didn't want you reading pieces of the truth in the papers or through whispers from neighbors. They stood at your door, their eyes serious but gentle. One of them carried a folder marked with your name. Inside were details too sensitive to be left out in the open. They handed it to you carefully, their voices low. You need to see this. You were involved more than you know. Type Amen to get blessing 688. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20. As you opened the folder, your hands trembled. Page after page revealed how long you were being watched. Every corner of your routine, your life, your habits, documented. One image stopped your breath. It was your front door, taken at night. Another, your living room light glowing through the curtain. You had no idea anyone had been that close. He had walked up to your steps more than once. Stood outside while you were just inside. That bag of groceries, that tap you thought was the wind, those were him. He was closer than you imagined. Closer than safety should ever allow. Type Amen to get blessing 444. Archangel Michael says, nothing hidden can last when divine light is sent to expose it. The walls have spoken. The devices he used to track and watch have now turned against him. They found his computer, full of disturbing files. Password protected, but cracked open with heaven's timing. Inside were more than photos, there were voice clips. You heard your own voice, recorded from somewhere near your window. Conversations meant for no one else. Sacred, private, intimate. And now you know. It wasn't just crime. It was desecration of your peace. Type Amen to get blessing 903. They took it all into evidence. The devices, the letters, the files. But the echo of what he did lingers. Now, security patrols your street every few hours. Lights stay on later. People lock their doors faster. The neighborhood has changed, and not just because of what he did, but because of how close it came. You've been quiet, but your soul has grown louder. And your prayers have turned into armor. Because what was meant to shatter you only sharpened your senses. Type Amen to get blessing 144. He has been charged, officially. Multiple counts. And though he hasn't confessed everything, the evidence speaks without mercy. Court dates are set. Statements will be read. But you won't have to say a word if you choose not to. Your strength has already testified. You are the story that didn't end in tragedy. You are the name that wasn't erased. You are the one who walked out of the target's circle and into protection. And the city will remember that. Type Amen to get blessing 574. The detective who led the case told you something strange. That every time they got close to catching him before, something would interfere, evidence lost, confusion, delays. But not this time. This time, everything aligned. Every clue showed up on time. Every signature was clear. Because heaven said, now. That bag of darkness was ready to burst. And right before it spilled onto you, angels intervened. Type Amen to get blessing 810. The officer paused before leaving. You were lucky, they said. But you know better. You weren't lucky. You were protected. Your intuition, your discomfort, your delayed decisions, they were all part of a divine shield. Even your silence, even your stillness, was an act of survival. Now, they'll watch you like a case. But heaven watches you like a calling. Type Amen to get blessing 526. Archangel Michael says, do not carry this fear. Carry the wisdom. You are not in danger anymore. You are in destiny now. This event will no longer haunt you, it will shape you. Your name is no longer listed under target. It's written in a new list, untouchable by evil. Let peace return. Let your sleep become deeper. Let your home breathe again. You are free. And this time, you know it. Type Amen to get blessing 377. Later that week, you received another unexpected knock on your door. This time, it wasn't the police, it was an official court officer. In his hands, a sealed envelope with your name written in firm black ink. The moment you touched it, something in your spirit shifted. You hadn't fully exhaled since the day the arrest happened, but now, it felt like something bigger was unfolding. Inside was a formal notice: you were being called to appear. Not just as a neighbor, but as a key witness. Type Amen to get blessing 688. The courtroom is preparing to hear the full story. Not just from detectives or lawyers, but from you. Because your name, your voice, your presence now holds a piece of the truth no one else can provide. You don't have to be afraid. What once watched you will now be forced to hear from you. But this time, on your terms. And behind you? Not just the court, but divine protection, standing in full armor. This is no longer about fear. This is justice unfolding through your courage. Type Amen to get blessing 540. They have already reviewed the files, the recordings, the photos. But what they want now is your truth. What you felt. What you noticed. The details you thought didn't matter. Because in your memory, there are keys that connect pieces only you can unlock. The man who watched you in silence will now be forced to sit in silence. While your words hold the weight of truth he can't run from anymore. This is a courtroom, but it will feel like a battlefield. One where light will finally crush the dark. Type Amen to get blessing 221. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20. Archangel Michael says, walk into that room with confidence. You are not weak for telling the truth, you are chosen to expose it. They will try to twist facts. They may even ask uncomfortable questions. But nothing can break you now. You already survived the threat. You already walked through the shadows and came out in the light. And now, your voice is more powerful than the plan that tried to silence you. Type Amen to get blessing 914. You'll notice the man won't look at you during the hearing. He'll keep his head low. He'll flinch at the mention of your name. Because you're no longer a target, you've become a testimony. You're no longer being watched, you're being honored. Each word you speak will send ripples through the courtroom. And the truth will land like thunder. The very people who once doubted the danger will now hear it directly from you. Type Amen to get blessing 473. After your testimony, there will be a pause. Not just in the room, but in the spirit. Everyone will feel it. Even the judge. Even the jury. They will not see you as just a neighbor, they will recognize you as the one who was protected by something bigger than the law. This moment will echo for years. In your heart. In their minds. In the justice system. Because one act of bravery opens the door for generations of protection. Type Amen to get blessing 722. Archangel Michael says, you are not carrying the weight of the crime, you are carrying the light of its ending. Let no fear rest in your chest. Let no doubt cloud your voice. The angels are still beside you, and their swords are drawn. What was hidden is now laid bare. And you are the final piece to end this chapter completely. Heaven is not just watching, you are moving with heaven now. Type Amen to get blessing 101. After the case closes, your neighborhood will feel different. Lighter. Safer. Stronger. Not because the man is gone, but because you stood tall when it mattered most. You didn't run. You didn't collapse. You stood still, and the truth came running toward you. Now, your name is etched in justice. Weeks after the trial ends, something unexpected arrives, this time, by certified post. It's an envelope from the National Crime Witness Protection Office. Thick. Heavy. Marked confidential in deep red letters. You sit with it for a moment before opening, sensing the gravity inside. When you break the seal and unfold the documents, your heart races, not from fear, but from something greater. Your name has been officially recorded and recognized as a protected survivor. Type Amen to get blessing 642. It's not just a title. It's a shield. A permanent mark in the legal system that ensures your rights, your safety, your identity are guarded for life. You're given access to things most never receive. Direct lines. Security services. Watch lists you're now included in. A full system of eyes, all focused on one thing, keeping you safe. The letter states it clearly, due to the weight of your involvement and proximity to the crime, and the evidence you helped bring to light, you are now recognized under National Survivor Protocol. You never asked for this. But heaven made sure you received it. Type Amen to get blessing 773. Archangel Michael says, elevation doesn't always look like a crown, it sometimes comes with scars. But those scars are now sealed in protection. You've been divinely promoted. From unseen to acknowledged. From targeted to shielded. From watched to watched over. And now, your story will become part of future training programs. Your courage will be studied. The moment you spoke up will become a reference in law enforcement briefings. You didn't just survive, you redefined how survival is seen. Type Amen to get blessing 550. There's someone in that courtroom, someone with rank and purpose, who took note of your testimony. They didn't say much at the time. But your name stuck with them. And now, that person is working behind the scenes to ensure this never happens again to anyone else. Because of you. A quiet recommendation has been written. A suggestion that you might be asked to consult, speak, even help others who face similar threats. Not because you're a victim, but because you're a voice. Type Amen to get blessing 331. You'll start receiving messages, quiet, respectful ones. From people who heard your story. Survivors. Fighters. People who felt invisible, until they heard what you lived through. They'll thank you. They'll ask how you stayed strong. And your answer will always be the same, because heaven never left me. You were never fighting alone. Not even once. And now your survival has created a ripple of awakening across souls who thought they had no way out. Type Amen to get blessing 799. Archangel Michael says, your legacy has shifted. You are no longer just known by your name, but by what you overcame. There will be a record. Not just in government files, but in the spiritual realm. That the enemy tried and failed. Your peace now rests in a higher place. And every door you walk through will now recognize the light you carry. You are untouchable, not because of fear, but because of faith. Type Amen to get blessing 910. Soon, someone will invite you to speak. Maybe at a school. Maybe at a conference. Maybe even behind closed doors for agents and advocates. They'll ask you not just to share your story, but to guide others. Because there is strength in your truth. And your voice has already shaken the darkness once, it can do it again. But it will always be your choice. No pressure. No expectation. Just the open hand of divine opportunity. Because you've earned the right to decide who hears your voice now. Type Amen to get blessing 486. You'll walk past the house one day, the one that once hid the darkness. But you won't feel fear. You'll feel power. Because you stood next to something evil, and it couldn't touch you. You were marked, but protected. Watched, but not taken. And now that ground is no longer dangerous. It's holy. Because it witnessed your protection. Type Amen to get blessing 117. And no one will ever dare target your peace again. Type Amen to get blessing 884. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20.